Welcome back. This is game two, TSM is Cloud9. I know my production value is insane, pausing and unpausing Spotify. Um, C9 versus TSM, game one, I think Cloud9 completely bossed draft. To be fair, blue side draft is pretty hard to do, but I think if you put yourself in a position where you picked the Syndra and the Orianna and the LeBlanc, it becomes a lot easier and you can actually make something out of a blue side draft. We saw a Rengar ban come in, and a rumble come in, and we also see that this time around Impact is playing. So I haven't, I'm gonna be honest. It's not like I've committed myself 100% to watch the NLCS completely, but as my understanding is, Impact is the tank player and Ray is the carry player. Why ever a team would have a situation like that is uh, very confusing to me because I think any player that should be a finalist, should be able to play his role completely and not half-ass it, even in cases where, looking at uh, other regions when you have subs, let's say SKT is the obvious one, it's not like, oh, bang, or not bang, blank, you are our Graves player. No, it doesn't work like that. I think it's really confusing. So I'm hoping that's just a rumor and that they can all play everything. I know that I've seen Impact play some Trundle and some Rumble, so I guess it should work out fine. Lelong is another band that TSM do. They banned the last game. Jensen seems like a filthy Lelong player for sure. Fizz as well. Jensen, filthy Fizz player. Makes sense. If Impact is the tank player everyone talks about, then he's not gonna play a freaking Fizz, right? Shenban, I've seen Impact play a lot of Shen. I think Shen becomes pretty good in the case that uh, a lot of top lane bans come in. I know Shen has a good matchup into Nautilus. I'm assuming that's what TSM are going to look for in a game like this. I think also something that I personally think is really good is the Gragas top lane. I think Gragas as a top laner is the best tank top laner right now. He has a lot of burst. His sustain on his passive is crazy, and the itemization for him is also really wonderful. I think with the nerf of Maokai, I think Gragas is the top dog. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an early pick Gragas with all these top lane bans directed towards Hanzo. Last game we saw an Ashe ban, which is of course the best blind pick in the game. It has good matchup into a lot of things, uh, a lot of the good supports, a lot of AD carries as well. Good against Kate, can match the range. I think the disparity is like 25, and then it's good against Varus as well. Sure, you can match Ashe with, let's say, an Ezreal, or even in this case, like a Lucian is better than it is against Kate, against Ashe, I believe, but still, the matchup should still be bad. I think when it comes to Ashe, uh, pretty much. What you want to look for is either an Ezreal, you can also play Varus, you can play Kate, and that's fine too. And if you want to put yourself in a direction where you can deal with Ashe properly, then you can also go for a Tamkin support, and it should be fine. But in general, Ashe is a very solid blind pick. It's very support reliant, where and what, like how the matchup goes. And in the case where TSM blind pick Lulu and Cloud9 get to counter the support pick, then they should have a winning bot lane. And I think that's something that was very lacking last time around. So now, when I see this Graves pick early on, this is something that makes more sense to me. Like, I know that blue side Graves has been very, very strong, but something that kind of fell through, especially over in EOLCS as playoffs progressed. I think this Rengar and Graves matchup is a lot worse for Graves when Rengar is on blue side because it's very hard to punish a blue side Rengar, I believe. I think it's a lot easier when you're the one uh, playing Graves on blue side into uh, the Rengar on red side. So TSM are doing the standard thing of picking Syndra. Like in this case, Syndra is such a good blind because in a lot of cases she's going to be pushing the lane and you can't get heavily punished. Sure, there are counters to Syndra. You can pick Echo, you can pick Zedivian if you want, but I doubt that's going to happen when Rumble was banned and Graves and Ashes, of course, picked. So too much AD, right? But you will still have pressure around mid, and you can play around the fact that let's say Cloud9, I'm assuming Jensen, he played a lot of Echo in the past. He's going to just pick Echo, right? Uh, that uh, Echo scales in the matchup against Syndra very well. Later on in the game, he's going to have TP. He's going to win against him and split. That's the strength of Echo, right? And at 6, he can trade with Syndra and not be afraid of her ultimate. He can ult away when she ults, and that's fine, right? But Syndra still can dictate the lane from level 1 to 5, and that matters a lot. And Syndra as a champion is still very strong to be situated in mid and to get mid priority with. So this is a good blind in my eyes. Cassiopeia has so many weaknesses and very few strengths, while Syndra, I believe, is a champion that is very diverse and gives you more options in the draft. TSM banning Karma Nami, Smoothie. Uh, I'm not too aware of his champion pool, but I think there is a lot of things you can pick into Lulu. I think you can play Zyra, you can play Trash, and I think these bans don't really make a difference. I think these bans are rather useless because I think Trash and Zyra are I guess they are better against Rengar, but not that good against Syndra. But the same could be said for Karma Nami, that they're not the greatest against Syndra. Maybe Tidal Wave can be useful against Syndra, and maybe Karma Speed can be useful. So sure, there is some argument there in favor of Karma Nami. But I think in terms of the matchup bottom, C9 should be able to pick up support that is good against Lulu. Okay, so with Chen Ban, like I'm thinking about the Gragas Nautilus matchup. I think Nautilus should win that matchup early, but the moment Gragas hits triple Dorans, I think it should just shift in favor of Gragas. I think when he gets Sheen, it should be easy for Gragas. Uh, with that in mind, like I think it should pan out fine. I'm assuming TSM, like the only options they have to pick are the tanks. Cannon would be a good pick in Nautilus. Rumble is fine as well. Camilla is okay. Shen is the one that people say is the counter. I'm assuming the TSM is going to pick another tank here. Yeah, Gragas it is. I think Nautilus should be pushing this matchup early. Later on, I think Gragas wins the matchup. And Lucian, interesting. Now the thought process could be that, like, we are playing Lucian, Lucian Lulu. You're going to get pushed in bottom for sure. Rengar is going to lose early. TSM have this spike at around 6 when Rengar becomes stronger to do something, I feel. I think this draft is looking like something that is better for C9 for sure. Where they have early pushing lanes, they should be winning bottom as well. There's a Zyra into the Lulu. They should be winning bottom in terms of push. They have a jungler that can be very active early on. Uh, Especially Echo playing into Rengar is something that he's very happy to do because he knows he's not going to get pressured. This is a draft that I would say is in favor of Cloud9. They have champions that are very strong to get mid priority with Graves, Zara, and Ash. They can get mid priority around there. Echo is going to win in split. Nautilus is a matchup that is fine into Gragas as well, nothing to complain about. And as it seems right now, I think C9 have the better draft. They have more pushing lanes, they have more tools to play with later on in the game. Something that is also important to note is a reason why TSM might have opted in for the Lucian instead of, let's say, an Ezreal or like I think you can still go side with Ezreal, but I think the idea is that they want to put Syndra in mid and let Lucian go on side and lane against the Lucian together with Lulu, and that's something that they can use as a tool to get pressure into the Echo, and Syndra can stay in the position where she likes to be, that is in mid. I think that is the idea behind Lucian, that he's strong on side, and on top of that, I think the matchup Ashe into Lucian is better for Lucian than Caitlyn into Lucian is. So I think that is also important to note. You can still use E to dodge a bunch of shit like the arrow, etc., and that matters as well. Later down the line, I think the idea is that Lucian is going to go on side later on, like what people pretty much call a 3-1-1 composition, right? Wrap to start. I don't think it was with leash. Doesn't seem like it was with leash. Maybe it was with leash. Doesn't matter too much. Rengar is going 3 clear into base, I believe. Now in this case, TSM did not spot Graves on this ward. Like there's a lot of options for how you can get past this ward, because this is the standard ward that people play, right, to deny the invade from Graves. But I think it's uh, some you can still mind game with this, right? They only have one like one ward right there, and in this case they could have been punished because right here, if Graves decided to invade, take the, let's say, the explosive plant and walked in to take his blue buff, and he ran into the Rengar here, then it would be pretty bad for Rengar, and that's something that Graves didn't do. Sunskid decided to play with the information that he had on that one ward, and that's fine, right? Rengar gets to full clear, and he's really happy with his starting Raptors. They're going to spawn right after this, and he's gonna have a good time. Surprising not to see him build longsword, but he just went for the full clear items. Down in bottom, lane is getting pushed, exactly as we assume. Oh no. The all-in is pretty strong from TSM, right? That's something that's important to note. It's not like it's weak in that sense. Oh shit. Did I just spoil the entire game? Okay. Sorry for that. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. 125. Poke, 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 okay. Triple biscuit, white turtle. Double flash. Okay, everyone but summoners. Smoothie still has exhaust. That matters. Greg is pushing in for some reason. Surprising. What? So Rengar is out and about, man. Like Sinner's over here. He has no reason to be here. He's taking a massive risk. He has nothing to do here. He's doing Raptors, man. He's in Africa. Like Sinner was in base. This is cannot be happening. But very surprised about the bottom matchup how it pans out. I assume that Ashe and Zara is a lane that is going to be winning pretty heavily against Lucian and Lulu early on. I want to actually take a look at how the lane state was at level 1, because I think it looks like it looks yeah, TSM getting pushed level 1. I think that's not supposed to happen, and I think that's a big mistake here. I think level 1 they should be stronger. I could be wrong. No? I think giving up level 1 push is the mistake here. They also got chunked pretty hard. Yeah. Okay, so we got Echo, blue buff, kill on Rengar. He kinda trolled Bjergsen, that's for sure. Blue buff on Echo is pretty disgusting this early on. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Triple Dorans. I actually like the triple Dorans on Nautilus as well. Triple Dorans Gragas is so OP, man, in terms of laning, man. Good response. I think it means more for Gragas though, because he actually gets health, in theory, from this mana as well. So I think it matters more for Gragas. Mercury threads on Echo already. I'm thinking if it would mean more if we just bought Hextech Revolver and tried to all in all the time with that money. I think I would like that more, to be honest. He has a lot of pressure on mid. I think the situation kind of sucks for Bjergsen. He didn't get much of a lead earlier on though, but I think that's normal when the enemy jungler is Graves and you have Rengar. You can't really pressure the Echo in the way you want to early on. Alright. Oh no. Wait, okay. So let's look at the play, right? Bottom wave is pushed in. No one is showing on bottom. They are moving. Ashe is cut off. Suck and try. Rengar is ulting. They see everyone. Okay. I think they should have just should they have just done this play without Ashe, or should have Ashe should have just moved initially? I think. But even then, being in this position in this area as Ashe, like sure there's a blast cone. I think I think it's risky to go for this in general. Rengar is 6. They spot everyone. I'm just thinking if Ashe could have moved with Zyra straight off the bat, right? Because Ashe has no reason to stay here and try. They're just fapping here in the bush. They could have just walked straight up here and they would have gotten it, blast gone out, and it would be free. So I think Sneaky is not being that sneaky here. He should have died. Matters a lot that Rengar burns ult. I think the weakness of Rengar to me is that he has very heavy downtime when he doesn't have ultimate. Doran Swings doing work up top lane. Oh, 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 top die. Oh, holy shit, he got smacked, man. Oh, holy moly, this game is ugly already. Okay, I want to take a step back. I love how active TSM is, constantly with the pressure. Bottom wave gets to push in. Ashe is in a pretty rough spot after she got chunked to shit and got to base, or had to base. Oh, that's important. Ah. Ooh, man, man. This stings. Like his next auto attack, it wasn't close. Let's be honest. Like it wasn't close. Like he had a cooldown like 1 second left on his auto attack. He could have ulted out. Been happy with the advantage that he got. Could have been neat. Imagine if he had a hextech revolver. Man, I think this stings. That's for sure. But you know, and sometimes you just gotta be happy with the advantage you have because you heavily outscale. Well, that stings. Oh, it stings. I think Jensen is carrying a lot of weight from the last time they played, and he put a lot of blame on himself, and he just wants to be the one that steps up. Jensen is a good kid. So after this happens, now the game's pretty rough, right? Like Bjornson's gonna be level 9, Ekka's gonna be level 7, and regardless of matchup or not, Syndra's gonna have pressure in this lane right now. Bottom is not working out as I imagined it would be, and this is a big problem. Impact burned flash from before. So let's evaluate the game. I was talking and being all sentimental about Jensen, but let's just talk about the state of the game. So I was imagining that bottom would win this matchup. Ashe Zyra against Lulu, Lucian, I assume they would win. Lulu Lucian needs to all in. I think it was very surprising that they did in fact get the level 1 push. I don't think that should happen. Um, After that, we had the situation where Sneaky got caught. That impacted bottom as well. And then when TSM bot lane, like when Cull becomes active, I do believe that uh, the Roland becomes even more stronger and they have more tools to play with in that regard. On top of that, Ash was behind because of what happened earlier, and they no longer have a lane to play on, or as planned from before. On top of that, Hanser solo killed Nautilus, which matters a lot. He lost a lot of XP and he also burned his flash. Hanser still had his flash, and everyone knows the Gragas E flash is super powerful from Gragas, and it's very easy to catch someone. It's like Camille ultimate level, you know, and it's very hard to not die in that lane because the moment Nautilus, like he needs to naturally push in order to trade or even do anything in this lane matchup, and eventually he's going to die to the Rengar ultimate, right? And looking at what Graves can do, Graves needs to get an advantage against Rengar early on in the game, and that is very hard to do from red side. It's hard to do when you die in mid lane. It's hard to do when you can't transition the matchup from mid into the side afterwards. And if there's anything for C9 to do, right, then it's to continuously try to look to play through mid, pressure through mid, and then try to make use of the Echo TP aggressively, right? But that became increasingly harder to do when Rengar, as shows, right, is ahead, and also Syndra is also pretty ahead, so she can just kill the wave, right, and walk away. So as the game stands right now, very difficult. Like if they are losing bottom as I thought they wouldn't be, and Hanzo got that kill without burning his flash and Impact burning his, then the game is rough for sure. C9 still have the option though, I believe, to, or before this happened, to look to try to play through mid. Uh, we see a replay. Like I just want to see the state of the game. Where Because right here, you know, you could just call impact. You need to play safe. Enemy team is ahead. They have a Rengar. He could be fucking anywhere. That's the disgusting part about Rengar, right? If you are behind against Rengar and he can gank anywhere, your life sucks. Um, but that's just how you have to play it, right? Rengar as a champion is really strong when you're ahead, but really useless when you're not. Like in a sense where, let's say at this point in the game, he has one lane to play on and one lane to do something on, then it's very easy to play around. But in this case, bottom got chunked to shit. They used their summoners once again, and Rengar could be bottom to do execute a dive, and Nautilus getting pushed in at that time makes it harder to kind of execute on that. Graves is out of position, and Rengar could be ganking top as well at the same time when Nautilus is taking the risk to push out the wave that he's scared of. Gragas diving with bottom because of the TP, right? It becomes a very awkward situation for you when Rengar is ahead. But when Rengar is behind and he only has one lane to execute on, then it becomes much easier to deal with. Like later down in the game, if let's say C9 have the situation where they can pressure through mid into top side, Rengar can only make a play on bottom side. So that's like the idea of it. If Rengar is the one in the game that is weaker in a sense, or if he needs to group up mid to try to gain mid pressure, then Rengar is pretty useless. But in games where he is ahead, then he looks broken as all hell because looking at C9's position, right, they could be thinking like, where the hell is Rengar? He could be top side, he could be bottom side, he could be diving bottom when we are getting screwed. He could be top side. Nautilus can't contest the wave because he could just be there for the gank after TP is down, and it becomes a really rough situation. And the only way for C9 to play it then is to be really, really patient, not trade at all, try to do something through mid, even send Zyra through mid to just try to create something through mid, and then try to use Echo and then collapse into one side and try to create something like that. But in this case, um, Impact wasn't patient. Bottom is not being patient either. Or they're not being patient at all. Holy moly. And now the game is super rough, right? Like top is doomed, top is die, bottom is doomed, and they can't really do much with Echo. I don't even think C9 win this. Like, how do they kill Gragas? That's a top lane. That's a TP impact. It just Hans is so fucking tanky, man. Oh, Syndra's here. The game is over, man. Yeah, the game time is even shorter than the previous game. The game is the game is doomed. The game is super doomed. The game is so doomed. So I think the biggest problem here, Impact dying 1v1, Echo misplaying around mid. I think C9 not recognizing that they should have played through mid, and also TSM executing that 2v2 very beautifully. The question is then, like looking back at draft, if Graves is a pick that makes sense on red side. You know, I said that C9 are in favor when it comes to the draft. I'm just the only thing I'm questioning right now is the Graves pick, because maybe that's the pick that isn't the greatest for the 2v2 here in mid. But I think still that it should be winnable. Question is then if Echo and Graves, if they are in line in what they want to do, because Graves wants to get an advantage on Rengar early on, and I think that's very hard to do on red side. I don't like that part of it. And uh, then Echo just wants to chill until he's six, so they kind of contradict each other. And in that sense, right? And Syndra can get pressure, and Rengar can get six pretty much for free when she can push in waves, even though Rengar died in early on in the game. It's trying to just think if, looking back at it, if Graves was the good pick to do, because you know maybe we could consider them picking the Rengar. Would that have been good? I don't think so too much, because if the matchup was switched and TSM were the ones with the Graves and they had the Rengar and they're getting pushed in early on in the mid, then I think Graves from Blue's side could have executed a lot of pressure onto the Rengar. But in this case, when you have an Echo into a Syndra, you're not going to get pressure early on in mid, right? So the question is then if it made more sense for C9 to just blind the Lee Sin uh, early on in the game, or already there, since they saw Lulu, to just pick their entire bot lane and wait with their jungle pick for later. Sure, when enemy team shows Syndra and Rengar, you have to pick your mid laner into the Syndra, right, which would be Echo, otherwise we get banned because Jensen knows about like Bjergsen knows about Jensen playing Echo, everyone does, and then there will be bans for jungle as well, so that could be also an argument for why it's harder to pick a jungler there. But I think it makes more sense to pick the Lee Sin now when you think about it, the Lee Sin instead of the Graves. All right, with that in mind, some flaws with the draft, right? I still think it could have been executed better. I think C9 should be able to get push level 1. I think they're getting absolutely smashed. In both games, they got absolutely smashed. First game is more understandable, but I think this one, I can't help but feel that they could have played it a lot better. All right, I'm just gonna fast forward right now. Like, I think this game should be over. So, okay, let's take a look at this. So we have Gragas itemizing MR, Lucian being very fed, Syndra also being super fed, like she can just 1v2 in mid to get mid priority, right? Gragas can deal with Echo really easily in split, no problem there. And the three that have like the BT and like the Lucian and the Lulu are going to shit on Nautilus and split, so they have all the lane matchups going for them, they have all the priority going for them, they have all the options in the world, right? And after what happened top lane after this play, right, when everyone died, there's no hope because they're going to have priority on every lane. They have the options of doing everything, right? So it's doing insanely good on Rengar. Okay, Hansa has TP. Bergson is chilling in mid. He needs to respect here on river because that's the only play they have, right? They have vision on this side of the jungle. Hansa is pushing out for free, so they have to respect top side. Wild Turtle being a bit wild here. Ooh. He actually deserves to die. No offense. He deserves to die because what the hell, man? Your team, like, Bjergsen is respected mid for a reason, right? He's respected mid for a reason. It's because, we have vision here. He's respected in here because that's the only place I can make. We're pushing bottom for free, man. Calm down up and top. If anything, like, Bjergsen should be taking the safe path into top, but then, like, it could C9 could just be rotating into mid then, and it would end the same. I would even consider like calling this wave, right? Oh, okay. Hot arrow to the face is well deserved. And the rest of this is boring. Okay, okay. So, summarizing, C9. I thought at first I thought they have good draft, because I assumed they would be pushing bottom. Zyra and Lulu should be good, and uh, Ashe and Lucian should be fine as well. Uh, it should be good for Ash. And then Graves on red side, I had reservations about this. Hard to punish the blue side Rengar, especially when you have Echo mid lane. 2v2 in mid, I think they should still be able to do things as long as Graves is not the one that is being committed on. But that is kind of hard to ask for if Rengar is even or ahead. Rengar died early on in the jungle, but later down the line, like the invade that C9 did on the red buff was poorly executed and didn't end up in favor of C9, and that was very bad as well. I think also Graves could have potentially, like, there was a mind game there in the start, like there was a mind game right here that Graves potentially could have played with, but he's a rookie, guys. He just wants to play standard. No, I'm kidding. I don't know about how he is as a player or a person. In this case, we know there's a ward here. You could work around this by taking the blast cone after taking red buff and pressure the blue side, and that could be an avenue that they could have explored. Since in theory they should have pressure bottom, they could just win the level 1 push like they should in bottom, and then look to ward their own blue buff, invade enemy blue buff through passing, through vision, and it would be fine. Grace also has the option of just going through Baron Pit right with E, and that's also something that he could have done. And then with the bottom push, get vision on blue, and it would have been a slightly different game. It would be head on Rengar, and it would be a juicy one. Like Rengar dying here, he doesn't lose much, right? Like he doesn't lose much at all. Like his Raptor spawns like now, and sure he dies, and it's bad for mid lane, right? And mid lane did get an advantage of this. It's just that it doesn't matter too much for Rengar because he's gonna path into golems, raptors, and he's not gonna end up behind off of this. Like he got to do the camps that he wants, and he did full clear like the greedy one, where his golems spawn faster. Like when he does 3 camp in the bottom side and then base into full top side clear, then he gets a very neat and juicy clear where he will get 6 very easily and he doesn't get punished. So for Rengar's game alone, this was fine, right? Him dying doesn't matter too much, but it mattered for mid. And eventually Jensen threw away that lead by dying in the 1v1 situation where he could have ulted away and be happy and retained his lead. Okay, I think that summarizes the game pretty well. I think the Grace pick is what I would consider as a change here. If they see this matchup coming in, because Bjergsen blind picking Syndra, this is what he's going to do, right? I think he's been doing this for the last 4 years or something. Okay, I think we can leave it at that. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace.